What up, peeps? Tony Baker here, back with another movie review. Except this time it's not a movie, it's a series. Welcome to Derry, It. I'm gonna just review the series as a whole, no spoilers. All right, if you want the spoilers, I'm gonna have to do a separate video. Okay, I'm gonna just pretty much tell you how I felt about the whole season without giving away too many seasonings. The full ingredient list. First of all, I'm a fan of the It. Is it a franchise at this point? I'm a fan of the 1990 joint. I'm a fan of the ones that came out a few years back that they split into two different films. I feel like the 1991, I feel like this, because they split the 1991 in two different nights. It was like a mini series on ABC, and they split it in two nights. So it was just like one night was 2 hours, another night was 2 hours. And I feel like the first half was always better. And the same thing happened with the movies that they released a few years back. The first half, when they were just focused on the kids, was better than when they were adults. I feel like there's something about when they were grown going against it just didn't hit the same as when they were kids. Because it is all about the kids. It is this alien entity that feeds on fear, and to the monster, the kids taste better because kids have more irrational fears, and to it, it's just like, oh, it tastes so sweet, the extra fear. Because you know what I'm saying? As a kid, I was scared of shit that just didn't even make sense. I was scared of movies like they were real. That's all it took. So if it was looking for me, it would have had a field day on me. I would have been delicious. I would have been honey roasted, honeysuckled, barbecue. I'd have been everything they were looking for. I was scared of everything. And so they'd be like, ooh, so you were watching Evil Dead 2 last night, huh? Can't sleep? I'll be like, I'm scared, y'all. I don't know. The kids just always hit a little differently. Now that we're in Welcome to Derry, which is set in 1962, so we go back because, you know, it reemerges every 27 years. And so now we go back to 1962 when the other one was like 88, I think, something like that, the late 80s. Now we're in 62, and we're in the town of Derry. And what makes this series, you know, more unique than the films were, the original TV series and the movies later on, is because now we got the Losers Club, we got the kids going against Pennywise and it and all that, but now we have a nice mixture of adults getting in on the action now. Because when you look at the original It's, it was always the kids against the monsters by themselves, because the adults in the town, they wanted no parts of what was going on. These kids are getting their asses kicked. This clown is torturing the shit out of these kids, and the adults are just like, what are you crying for? What are you doing this? They were worse than the monsters. And so the kids had no help. All they could do was depend on each other. So now we get a semi-fresh take. So now we got some adults in on what's going on, because the Hanlon family, if you remember Mike Hanlon from the original, this goes back. So it's showing you Mike's father as a young boy and his dad, who was in the military, Leroy Hanlon, and his wife Charlotte. They moved to Derry in the military, so they're not from the town. So that little stupor and that fear and that ingrained, like, disconnection that's ingrained in Derry is not settled into them. So you get to see that family dynamic, like, yo, there's something going on in this town. So now we're seeing new people to the town, like, hey, man, something ain't right. And so now, at least now, like when their kid is scared, they be like, what you scared of? And he tells them, like, oh, now the parents believe in him. So that's a fresh spin on, you know, the It universe. Is like, oh shit, adults are actually believing these kids? That's fresh now. So now we got the adults and the kids trying to fight back against it. That's an interesting dynamic within the series. And what I love about the series is that we can dig deeper now. Even though the movies were split in two, you still had like 4 hours and like 5 hours with the other films to kind of dig into the characters and what they were going through. Now we get even more time because we got 8 episodes. So now we got 8 hours to really dig in. And I like how the different Stephen King universes are coming together, where you got You got Dick Halloran from The Shining. He's in this series, and like, you know, all these Easter eggs and callbacks to other Stephen King properties, like Shawshank Prison is mentioned and stuff like that. And so it's just a dope world that they open, and the kid actors are just killing it. You know, the kids that play Ronnie, Lily, Will, Marge, Rich, they were fire. And it was like, and the thing that's dope and sad and creepy about it is that no kids are safe. Kids ain't safe in it. You know what I'm saying? Usually when you watch stuff, you be like, oh, they're not gonna kill the kids. Yes, the hell they are. These kids are in danger. So you don't know what the hell is about to happen, when it's gonna happen. You don't know what's real, what's not. And so all of these dynamics are playing out beautifully, because now you have a family that's moving from outside of Derry inside the Derry. And now we get to learn more about the native people that have been fighting against it for generations. So now we get introduced to those characters and how they fight against it and how they've been doing these things for generations. And so all of these dynamics play in like beautifully. And it's just like, man. And so with that Shining, you think about Dr. Sleep and The Shining, and like, how does Pennywise go up against that? Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is just chef kiss on the performance, man. It's like, of course you don't recognize him in all the makeup and stuff, but it's just so many layers to Pennywise and the performance that he's given, and you get a deeper look into why it chose Pennywise as its visual. We get the origin story on that, and like, you know, it's so many twists and turns, and anybody could get killed at any moment. It just adds an extra layer of just like edge of your seat. I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know who's going to live and who's going to die, what's going on. You kind of have a feeling of who might make it, because based on the it that goes into the future, well, you know, like, all right, so this character has to live because, you know, their kid is in the next one. So those kind of give you clues. But everybody else, you just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they did a really good job at building these characters, and even they didn't even rush to show you Pennywise. Pennywise doesn't show up till episode 5. The build-up was nice, so when he does finally emerge as Pennywise, you're just like, oh shit, he's back, and he's giving these kids the Pennywise don't give a damn. I'm just like, bro, chill. Nah, I'm not chilling. I'm eating. And it's just like, and there's always an element of human interaction. You know what pisses me off about horror movies? And it is no different. As terrifying as these monsters are, there's always a human element, like, how can we harness this? How can we control it? How can we use it for personal gain? There's always that. It drives me crazy. Like, everything you can think of, like the xenomorphs and aliens, there's always someone, we got to bring back a live specimen. We got to bring it back. Do you realize what they're capable of? If these get loose in society, do you realize? Nah, we can control it. And so it's just like, there's always an ulterior motive for human tampering that just defies logic. Like, really? You really want to? Because the goal of the government is like, yo, we want to use it to spread fear in the general populace, so we can get a better handle on what's going on in the world today. Racism, the Cold War, all this other bullshit. I'm like, no, yes, no, yes, every time. The ensemble cast did a fantastic job, man. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, he better get an Emmy nomination for this, because they really nailed it. And the beautiful part of this series, man, is that it paid off in the final episode. A lot of these series, they kind of drop the ball in the final episode. You do all this build up, and then the last episode, you're like, eh. This one was a beautiful final episode. Like, the last 2 episodes are the strongest episodes in the whole run. And so I love it when a landing gets stuck. Like, you know, they stuck the landing on this. You know what happened in Game of Thrones. That final season of Game of Thrones, they built everything up beautifully. And that last season was just like, they fumbled the ball. It was just crazy. This one here, they ended it beautifully. And now I want more. That's the hard part. Now I want more. I don't know when that's going to happen. They talking about like 2028. 2028? That's a long time, man. That's 2 years. I don't even know what's the weather gonna be like, man. We still gonna be here? We're gonna get hit in the face by Atlas from space. We're gonna get hit in the mouth by a comet between now and then. There's been a lot of stuff getting close to Earth lately. Every time I get on the internet, man, hey, man, it's an object right by Earth, y'all. They keep coming over here. One of them gonna hit. And I'm not trying to reference, because, it came in from space and he landed, and you know what I'm saying? I'm not even trying to tie those two together, but they keep talking about Atlas. And I'm like, yeah, what if Atlas changed course? Be like, bam, hit us in the mouth. Now we in deep impact for real. You think we're going to get Welcome to Derry on 2028 then? We got to do these things now. Y'all got to make everything simultaneously. You feel me? We got to do Welcome to Derry. That's already got to be done. Film it at the same time. Why we wait? Budget constraints? Y'all be spending all this money on movies that nobody even cares about, man. Pour it into this. We care about this. I need more, man. It was a job well done. But forget all that, man. Y'all want to know the smooth jazz review of Welcome to Derry. Well, here it is. Oh, yeah. I'm giving Welcome to Derry 4.5 saxophones out of 5. It was a good watch. I was looking forward to it. It was some truly disturbing, scary visual moments in this thing, which is what you come to expect with it, Welcome to Derry. And Pennywise did not shortchange. He was like, I'm taking it there. It was just, I got minor complaints here. It was just a good time. I was not disappointed. I want more. And it ended, this is the first time it has ended strongly. Because before, when they were adults, it didn't really land. And then in that original miniseries, it definitely didn't land. When it came out, a giant spider, we were like, man, get the fuck out of here. It just didn't hit, especially with the special effects of it. But that first half was beautiful. Second half was like, but this time, last 2 episodes. Then I got to wondering, man. I was like, if Pennywise was coming for me now, because he gonna tap into your fears and put it in your face, what would he use to scare me? Because I'm not as scared of spiders as I used to be. I'll be catching them now. I'll be up close and personal with them now. I know them better. What would he come with? Because that one kid, you know what I'm saying, he was scared of like germs and stuff. So he had that one dude all up in his face, like Germ McGee. He was like, I'd be scared of that. It would have to be a nuclear warhead talking to me. Like I would go in the bathroom, it'd be a nuclear warhead in there. Tone, what's going on? Just smoking this radioactive cigarette. Hey, get that out of my face. What's wrong, Tone? Scared of a little fallout. And I'm like, no, fallout. Nuclear war is my biggest fear. So would he just be a nuclear warhead every time he saw me? Hey, Tone, radioactive, man. No, radiation. I don't know. He would have to get creative with me, man. Because if you was just a regular, just a creepy looking corpse, I'd be like, how long you been dead? I got questions. You musty? But if he was a nuclear warhead, you got me, Pennywise. All right, peeps, that's my review of Welcome to Derry. Let me know what you thought of the series in the comment section below. Did you enjoy it? Did it meet your expectations? How do you rank it against the films? I definitely feel like it ended the strongest of any of the films, and I feel like the kids really nailed it once. The kids nailed it every version of it that has been released. The kids have nailed it every time. And they nailed it again, man. Let me know what you thought of the show in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as usual, we out here.